What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the channel, and today we're looking at the SUV that has turned the market upside down and inside out. Today I am reviewing the Durango SRT. So with what once started as a body on frame, the original Durango, which was more like a pickup truck in disguise, has evolved into a unibody Mercedes GL frame, high performance family SUV that you can take to the track or drive daily. It's absolutely insane what they've put into this package for such an amazing price. From its aggressive 392 badge, wider fenders, vented hood, aggressive front end and grille, and SRT badge, this Durango delivers not only the performance and the goods, it looks good too. The Jeep has its own following, as does the Durango, but I'm going to get down to a few things, and I'm not saying this with any biased opinion. This is pretty much the simple fact of the matter. The weight distribution of the Durango, as well as the wheelbase and balance, is better. The chassis is better balanced. It has a higher towing capacity as well. So the Durango is a Mercedes GL chassis in disguise, which is why it rides so good and handles well with the right suspension, hence the SRT, as the Mercedes GL chassis was fantastic. And Mercedes used it for years. It was just a very good chassis. With its 6-piston front and rear Brembos, just like the Jeep, its stopping power is identical. Another thing that's not up for debate on the Durango versus Grand Cherokee SRT is the exhaust system on the Durango SRT is louder, sounds better, has more of a grumble to it, and you can hear it more pronounced through the RPM. It's a much better engineered exhaust system. The intake on the Durango SRT is also phenomenal, as it pulls all of its air from the fender liner and the wheel well, where all the cold air truly lies. This won't go much above 65 on a 40-degree day, no matter how much traffic you're sitting in. It's a very well-designed cold air intake. Now, this intake was engineered at the track by Dodge for track use, so it's another thing about the Durango that just makes it a little bit better. But enough with comparing the vehicles side by side. We're here to review the SRT Durango. Now, there's many other options you can add to the Durango. One is the Moonroof. The other is the Laguna red leather. You can have the black Laguna leather, and you can also have the Alcantara black suede on black leather seats. You can also add the premium interior appearance package, which is the leather stitched and wrapped dashboard, which I think looks awesome. You can also add the tech package, which gives you blind spot awareness, front collision detection, adaptive cruise control, and you can also add the tow group package, which is just under $1,000, and you can add a spare tire. I love owning the Durango SRT. It handles good in the dry, the wet, the snow. It launches good, it's fast, it handles great. But let's go for the road test and show you guys how truly amazing the Durango SRT really is. Now, I did own a 2015 RT Durango Blacktop Edition, and now after owning the SRT Durango for over a month and a half and daily driving this, I can tell you for a certainty that the Durango is a better riding SUV than the Grand Cherokee. I know that's going to be very subjective, but the simple fact is it just overall handles better in the corners. This is definitely America's fastest three-row SUV, and you have to think about it. The Land Rover Autobiography has 75 more horsepower, but it's also $120,000. The Porsche has more horsepower, only if you get the S model, which is $150,000. There is nothing that can compete with the Durango SRT for under $100,000. Well, of course, except the Trackhawk or the Grand Cherokee SRT, which are all FCA products. But I will just let you guys know that there's nothing you're going to buy that's under $100,000 that's even going to come close to the Durango or the Grand Cherokee. You got your Grand Cherokee crowd and you have your Durango crowd, both under the same family of vehicles and both with the same amazing 475 horsepower engine. Now, I did a mini review of the Durango in the snow, and as long as you use the SRT pages and put it in snow mode, it handles beautifully. It's unbelievable how good this vehicle is in the snow. I never got to test the Grand Cherokee in the snow, but I assume it's pretty much the same thing as the Durango. Oh yeah, man, this thing moves fast. 3 rows over 5,000 pounds, and 0 to 60 is as good or better than a Camaro SS. And I did the Camaro SS 0 to 60 review and did multiple 0 to 60s, and the best time I got was 4.16. I've already done 4.2 in this just playing around, so we're going to see what we get today. But the Durango is definitely fast for a big, huge, heavy SUV like it is. The SRT pages are much better than the pages that come on my Hellcat, which is a 2016. I really like the improved SRT pages. The issues with the Uconnect seem to have been resolved since I went to the dealership. I got the SRS light I have to clear, but the screen hasn't turned off and nothing else has happened. See, here we are going into the turn. I'm gonna put it in sport mode. Not gonna be able to do a 0 to 60 here. We're gonna do the handling test going in. Oh man. Oh my God, this thing is fast. It puts a smile on my face. So I'm getting ready to go into the turn in track mode. And I did the Jeep. I tested the Jeep on this exact spot. And it does have body roll in this sharp turn, but I will tell you, it's definitely less body roll than the Jeep. It's hard to tell. They're very close, but I feel the Durango has a much better balance in the rear. It doesn't seem as top heavy for some reason. I don't know why. Now, the seats in the Durango are unbelievably comfortable. I went to InShane Designs, which was a 6.5-hour round trip drive for me, and I must say I was comfortable the entire time. The transmission on the Durango is so smooth. It just shifts instantly and you hardly even feel it. Even in track mode, it's really not rough at all. Here we go. Oh my God. Stopped so fast. Oh my Lord. Oh my God. It's unbelievable how good the steering is on the Durango. You can adjust it in the performance pages. Now, the Durango SRT while riding in track mode is stiff, but still very doable for a daily driver. Much better than my Integra Type R is with the Mugen coilovers, which feels like it's riding on bricks. While you're in sport mode, it softens up. Most people could handle sport with no problem, and when you're riding in street mode on the Durango SRT, it feels very luxurious and soft. So it has 3 different settings, which gives you full control over the vehicle, which is just fantastic. They've really put everything into this vehicle. Now, the stock airbox in the Durango SRT was engineered at the track by Dodge. They put it through lap testing, and it pulls air directly from the fender liner, and it's sealed, so it's not sucking in any of the hot air. The steering wheel has height, tilt, and telescoping adjustment that's fully electronic control with the button on the side of the steering wheel. Now, I can tell you guys that the flat bottom SRT steering wheel is one of the best features of driving this car. It's very thick and easy to grab onto. It's the same steering wheel in the Grand Cherokee as well as the Hellcats. Gas mileage in the Durango SRT is decent at best on the highway. When it goes into 4-cylinder mode, you might get between 18 and 20. I've seen 20 to 21 occasionally, but usually between 18 and 20. Now, as crazy as this sounds, the Hellcat gets better gas mileage. I get 18 to 20 in the city in the Hellcat when I'm not getting on, and on the highway I get 26. So the Hellcat definitely gets better gas mileage, and that's because of the gearing. The Hellcat has 262 gears, and it helps them to accelerate better because they're not using forced induction like the Hellcat. So shorter gears get you out of the hole quicker, better acceleration, and better torque rating for towing. It will help out with towing. Oh my God. Oh my God. 4.2. It's insane that a 5,000-pound SUV is running 0 to 60 times just as fast as a Camaro SS. Unbelievable. Oh my God. 4.0. Holy crap. There you have it right there. 4.0. 0 to 60 bone stock. It's as fast as a Jeep and it's heavier. So how do we explain that? There you have it. So there it is, guys, right there on the screen. You can see. So looking at the interior of the Durango, I opted for the red Laguna leather, which I think looks beautiful. I did not get the stitched leather wrap dashboard, which pretty much looks identical to the center console's stitching and leather wrap. Now, I absolutely love the shifter in the Durango SRT, exactly the same as the new 2018 Durango RT, which is much better than that rotary dial knob that was in the older Durango RTs. But the interior is beautiful on the Durango. Coming into the back, you can see the captain's chairs, and I opted to remove the center console just to have the cup holders in the bottom. This way it makes it easier for guests to get in the back. The tweeters are on the back pillars. You can fold the headrest from the dashboard, which I'll show you in a few minutes. Very comfortable seating. I love the interior trim of the SRT Durango. You can see this is almost similar to a carbon fiber weave on machined aluminum. The stitching in the leather, the quality is unbelievably good. In order to get into the third row, you can step around this seat and go to the center, to the back row, or you can pull the lever right here to fold the seat down, and then you grab this red strap right here and pull up, and it pulls the seat forward, giving you lots of room to get into the third row. So much room in this Durango. I absolutely love how much room the Durango has. Not only is there a third row, but you still get storage space in the back. And if you open this up, you got a secret compartment down here to put more stuff, and that's where the subwoofer is, which I will show you how to change that out in an upcoming vlog. But there's a ton of room back here. You can fold the seats down, and then you have even more room. So everything here is pretty basic. This is your mute button, volume, your tuning and controlling radio stations, and your screen off. You can touch it to turn it back on. You can turn your park sense off so that when you're backing up or driving forward, it doesn't alert you when you're getting close to an object. I do not recommend doing that. So here's your traction control off. You have two options. You can turn it off, or you can hold it for 5 seconds and turn it completely off, which disables everything. And I'll show you over here on the dashboard. 5 seconds turns everything completely off. So now it's time to look at the SRT mode. Hit the button right here. You can see that you're on auto right now. Everything is set to street. Go to race options. You can go between 1500 and 3500 for your launch control. You can set your shift light on so it illuminates on the dashboard. So when you reach your desired RPM, the light will illuminate to help you realize when it's time to shift. You can change that anywhere you want, which is really cool, but you can't go above 6250. So now you can set it to snow mode, which is a 50-50 split. When you go over to tow, it changes the suspension to sport, which will really help out with towing. You can go into custom mode and actually change your custom setup anywhere you want for stability. You can also set it to complete sport mode or complete track mode. Now we're entering the performance pages, and I'll show you guys how it looks a lot better than the old performance pages on the Uconnect. Now here we are in the main menu of the performance pages. If I wanted to remove the current gear, which I do, just hold and let go and hit gauges, and I would love to see the battery voltage there. So there's my battery voltage. You can customize the home menu. So here's your timers. It'll show your recent, last, and best, and you can save it to a USB stick, which I do not have here right now. Go into the gauges right there. You'll see oil temp, oil pressure, battery voltage, coolant temp, your G-force meter right here. Now here is your engine page showing you your power, torque, oil pressure, and gear. That's a really cool menu, but I like the dyno one even more. While you're driving and accelerating, it gives you a live dyno graph of the vehicle and then gives you a history, which you can go from 120 seconds as short as 30 seconds. Now back to the SRT modes. You can see valet right here. If you're going to a valet garage, you definitely want to enter valet mode and enter your 4-digit PIN. Now if you want to enter eco mode, make sure you're in auto right here.
Then touch Eco, it disables the paddle shifters and sets everything to street mode. This will allow you at light throttle when you're not climbing a hill for the engine to enter 4-cylinder mode, which will bring the gas mileage from 17 miles per gallon to maybe 19 or 20. Climate is pretty self-explanatory, except unlike the Jeep or any of the other vehicles, you have rear climate, which allows you to control the entire rear of the vehicle, which I think is phenomenal for your passengers back there, or if you have kids. Here is your controls of the vehicle. I can access the backup camera now with the new Uconnect software. You can close that at any time when you don't want to look at it. Go back into controls, heated and ventilated seats. Now this is awesome for the winter. Heated steering wheel, no more cold leather on your steering wheel. You can fold the headrest down right there, and here is some basic settings for language, display, units, voice, clock, camera. Just the basic stuff, engine off options, folding mirrors while you're in reverse. Now here is the navigation page right here, which is pretty much the same for all Uconnect equipped Chrysler vehicles. Very straightforward. Going into the phone settings here, you can pair a phone and set up Bluetooth. Your media is either auxiliary, USB 1 or 2, or Bluetooth. Right here is your Sirius XM radio, which is pretty straightforward. So there is 2 USB connections right here to plug in your smart device or phone for music or just to charge your device. The steering wheel's got a pretty basic setup. Paddle shifters are on the back. This is how you control all the menus, and this is how you select. You have your phone disconnect and connect buttons right here, as well as voice control over the whole vehicle. So over here is the cruise control. You can use it with your right thumb while you're driving the vehicle. Everything is so accessible. Turn cruise control on, turn it off, you can reset it, and this is how you set the speed up or down. Very accessible with the paddle shifter. Everything is right here with one hand. Even the volume for the radio is back here, as well as controlling the tracks and the tuner back here with this hand. You can see I'm looking at air intake temperature. You can change that over to engine torque, engine power, tire pressure, coolant temp, trans temp, oil temperature, oil pressure, oil life, and battery voltage. Diagnostics on the vehicle, which I think is an awesome feature to have. So right here is your gauge setup. You can move your compass, your temperature display, and many different things all around the gauge cluster. Going up here is where you're going to access your radio features, your trip meter, as well as your gas mileage, which will show you what your average is, your current, and your range. Here is the SRT pages, which is your 0 to 60 timer, 0 to 100, 60 foot, as well as 1/8 of a mile, quarter mile, braking distance. These are your peak lateral Gs as well as the current Gs. You can go along to lap timer, lap history, and your top speed. Now looking up here in the rear view, you can see the SOS button as well as the power dimming on the mirror and your assist button. So up here you have your sunroof control. You can set it to vent by holding this button right here. And you can see it's vented. If I go back over here and hold the auto button to open, it'll close the vent and open the moonroof. Not that I'm going to leave it open as it's way too cold. And you can leave this open so that you can see out of the vehicle, or you can close it. On the console itself, these rubber insulators come out. You can clean them, put them right back in, and the same goes for the one that's over here. The first portion of the center console, you could leave your wallet or your phone or some papers or a receipt or whatever you want to put in there. The second one has a ton of room, and I got some junk in here, but it's so deep. If you look down there, there's so much room, a lot more room than my Hellcat. There's also full electronic control over the tilt of the steering wheel. I'm pressing the button right there on the side of the steering wheel. You can raise it up and down. It also has full tilt, height, and telescoping ability. You can see I'm pulling it in and out.
Well, that's going to do it, guys, for the review of the Durango SRT. You got to give it to Dodge for engineering another amazing American-made SUV that has turned the market inside out and upside down and has everybody buzzing and talking about it. You've also seen from the 0 to 60 test that even though the SRT Durango is heavier than the Grand Cherokee SRT by over 300 pounds, it is just as fast. Now, there's going to be a lot of people saying, hey, I own a Jeep Grand Cherokee and I ran 3.8, or I ran 3.7, or I ran 3.9. Well, the WK2 Grand Cherokees have been around for over 6 years now. Give the Durango SRT another year or two and I guarantee you somebody's going to be running 3.7 or 3.8 bone stock. So hopefully you guys found this review helpful and you enjoyed it thoroughly. So my opinions are not meant to be biased. They're meant to be informative and help you out when choosing to buy a vehicle. And I want you to learn something and also be entertained in my review. But that's going to do it for this review. Don't forget to support the channel at drivewithdemons.com. Get your hoodie there. Got to get to 50,000 subscribers, and then I'll do another review on this after I build in Super. supercharge it. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and share it with everyone. I want everyone to see this review. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for watching all my videos. But until the next review or the next daily vlog video, I'm Corey with Driveway Demons. Remember, have fun and be safe.